I would be happy if I got that plus the things that really matter.
What are the things that really matter?
I'm not a great father to my kids.
Okay, we're getting
my
somewhere.
heart just
You know how
exploded.
insane that is? To be somebody who wants more and you're not a good dad? Bruh. Like, I don't understand this dude. Tiger Belly versus world's most bitter comedian. The comedian in question is Aries Spears. If you don't know, Aries Spears has been facing a lot of backlash because of what he's been saying about Ice Cube not doing anything for him musically or theatrically. And I'm not reacting to that video. I'm reacting to a video that I saw a while back that fully encapsulates who Aries Spears is, because I had no idea he was like this, but he was one of my favorite comedians at one point in time, and he just kind of fell off. And seeing this video and seeing all the backlash that he is getting is very disheartening, but I feel like watching this video will paint a really good picture as to who Aries Spears is as a person and why a lot of people don't like him and why he has the outlook that he has on just life and whole. So yeah, I think this is a good video. It's a lot to take away from it. So yeah, let's get into it.
I know I deserve more. I want to be as big as Kevin Hart.
But you are that dude. My thing is,
in terms of talent and ability.
Right, but
my pockets don't show that. God damn, man. I'm not getting my flowers, man.
Tiger Belly had its 500th episode, and to celebrate, Bobby Lee invited a few of his old fellow actors from Mad TV, which, as you can imagine, turned into a roller coaster of crazy stories, but also a lot of whining and complaining from Aries Spears, who is very upset that he's not rich and famous. He believes that due to his level of talent, he should be at the same level as Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle. First, let's hear his backstory leading up to Mad TV.
Yeah, I did Def Jam when I was 16. I did Showtime at the Apollo at 17. Moved out to L.A. Between 17 and 18. I did a guest spot of Warm Up for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where Will Smith and a lot of NBC execs saw me. And then from there, word got around town quickly. There's this young hot kid in town. He's phenomenal. I got holding deals for 5 straight years. Every network. I probably made $1 million by the time I was 19, 20, but I hadn't anything to show for it.
And were you happy when you got on that show?
I was indifferent, man, because you know what? I'm going to be honest with you.
Because you didn't.
It's so crazy how people talk about $1 million. Like, it's not even, that's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So him just off rip, just kind of downplaying like, yeah, I made $1 million by the time I was like 21. And then he's going, but I got nothing to show for it, which is fair. He probably didn't have nothing to show for it. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who would kill for that $1 million. And he kind of brushes it off. And I think Bobby asked a really dope question. He said, were you happy? Because everything that he listed was like it seemed like he hit all the checkpoints that you would need to hit for one to appear as though they are happy. But even in his answer, it doesn't seem like he is. And let's get into the reason why.
Seemed that happy when I was there.
My dream was Saturday Night Live.
Here we go.
That was my dream, man. I wanted to take the same path as Eddie Murphy, man. 2-3 years on SNL, hit movie, and then the rest is history.
It's cooler. Matt is cooler.
Well, listen.
So I think that is the epitome of why he's not happy, because he never fulfilled that dream of doing SNL and getting a hit movie, and the rest is history in his words. And I feel like that's honestly what I'm seeing is kind of holding him back, because on paper, anybody looking at his career, arguably one of the most successful comedians on paper, but because he is not the biggest, which is all relative, because at a certain point, it's like you get to a certain level, there's always going to be somebody bigger than you. One might argue that Kevin Hart might be the biggest, but I feel like there's some people who are funnier, so it really just depends. But for him, he wants to be seen as the most successful by everybody. And it's like, but I don't even think that if he got that, I don't even think that he would be fulfilled. Because the fulfillment that he's seeking externally, that it only can come from within. So let's keep watching.
you know, like I said, I said to myself, I was disappointed because in the beginning I was like, I told my manager at the time, man, I feel like I'm doing this work on Mad and nobody's recognizing it. Nobody's saying anything. I'm not getting no love.
Damn. So when he's on Mad TV, no one is recognizing the phenomenal talent of Aries Spears.
And also, just even in him talking about it, I like to break things down from like a spiritual aspect. If he believes that he's doing all this work and nobody is recognizing it, then that is just the lens in which he's going to see the world. So him even voicing that, saying, oh yeah, I'm doing all this work and nobody's recognizing it. Well, yeah, it's because that's the lens in which what we see and what we believe, that is what we create in our reality. And when he's looking at the world like, man, no matter how much work I do, I feel like I'm not getting enough or I'm not getting recognized for it, then that's what you ultimately create. And he doesn't see that. I feel as though that he lacks a lot of self-awareness in that regard, where he's not seeing how he is. His mindset behind what he believes he deserves is centered around his perception of other people. But that's a losing game. So let's keep going.
He knows he deserves better. He's phenomenal. He even has his name on his back. Just so you know the name of this young talent. I can't imagine how fun it must have been working with someone who the whole time believes that he should be on a bigger show. Here they briefly talk about imposter syndrome. Now we already know this, but Aries still points out that imposter syndrome isn't something he's familiar with.
I don't know many actors
Who doesn't have it?
Yeah.
I think universally everyone has it.
You don't have it.
Yeah.
I know that about
I know I'm the shit.
Oh, God.
Yeah, well,
You've never had imposter syndrome? You always knew?
Listen, I've got, I get in trouble for, listen, I've always had confidence. I've always stepped like I'm the baddest motherfucker in the room.
I think that's great.
But no, because people go, Aries is arrogant.
But see, I don't even believe that. Like, he steps in the room like he's the most confident, but he doesn't feel like he gets enough recognition. Those two things are contradicting. Like, how do you feel like you are the biggest? How do you feel like you are the shit, but you don't feel like the shit? And like, if he walked in a room with Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, and insert your next, I guess, more successful comedian than Aries Spears, he's not gonna feel like the shit. He's gonna feel inferior to, because he always says, "Oh, I want to be as big as Kevin Hart." Well, there's an insecurity there that he's not even seeing. So I feel like he puts on this mask where he's saying like, "Oh yeah, I know I'm the shit." But even in his response, his rebuttal, he's saying, but people say that I'm arrogant. It's probably because you are, but he's not even internalizing that. But let's keep going.
He's cocky.
Yeah.
But I'm an alpha male from New York and I'm in Aries. And, I grew up in the 80s. I'm built 80s tough.
Like, all of those things are just ego. I'm an alpha male. I'm born in the 80s. I'm 80s tough. I'm an Aries. These don't mean anything. But to him, they mean the world. So he's kind of cultivated this alpha male persona where he feels as though like, yeah, I'm the shit because of all of these things. But it's really just a mask for his insecurities, because he's describing somebody. He sounds like somebody who is insecure. He doesn't sound like somebody who is confident, but he likes to portray himself as somebody who is, but,
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just own it.
Yeah, he's just an alpha male from New York, okay? He's not arrogant or cocky. He just owns it. Also, did you know he's an Aries? Which, coincidentally, is his name.
Insane.
So we're already seeing that this guy has issues. The biggest being the inflated ego, but without the recognition to pair with it, which explains why he's bitter.
I've been described as bitter, and I hate that word because I just, but I guess maybe that is what it is. Because, I sat back and I went, Jesus, the people that really built the show made it. And now it's like, and no disrespect to them, but Ike Barinholtz, Key and Peele. And I'm like, that show was built by this nucleus. And I'm just like, I don't get it. It's a head scratcher. I don't get it.
So yeah, things didn't pick up for Aries and some of the other cast members like it did with Key and Peele. Bobby has also described how nothing really happened for him after Mad TV. Who knows why that is, right? Besides having talent, Hollywood is a lot of luck and networking. Aries is talented, but it's easy to imagine someone not wanting to work with him. So maybe his attitude slowed his career. Who knows? But the same attitude is still here.
I'm just like, I don't get it. It's a head scratcher. I don't get it.
It shouldn't be that hard to understand that maybe he just didn't resonate on screen as much as Key and Peele did. They got their own show, which was a huge hit, so the network was right to take a chance on them. That should be crystal clear. It's pretty sad to see someone who's 50 still angry and confused about the success of his colleagues from 20 years ago.
And I think that's the most frustrating part when I look at this is at a certain point, there has to be a discussion and be like, yo, what am I doing to contribute to this? Because I think people like Aries, they would like to point the fingers and blame everything. They're like, oh, I don't know what it is. But how do you look at that? How do you look at your career? It's your career, and you're not even the slightest bit curious to be like, oh, yeah, well, what did I do to contribute this? Like, and even when he's using people like Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, all of these people, a lot of these people are just likable people. Sure, talent and them being funny has gotten them to the success that they've reached, but it gets to a point where you then have to ask, okay, these people are just good dudes. Like, people like being around them. Aries is a bitter dude. He's bitter. Not a lot of people like being around him for these very reasons where they don't really care to be around somebody who thinks they're the shit or they are this larger than life. Like, it's just not something that people resonate with, especially in a career that is, or in a profession that's built on relationships. You know, like, word gets around that you're not this likable dude. Everybody that you meet, you have problems with, or you always have something to say. Nobody's gonna hire you. So, let's continue.
Like these young kids say now, I'm going to give you your flowers. I just felt like, God damn, man. I'm not getting my flowers, man.
You have your flower.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Listen to me, Aries. We're the luckiest people on this planet.
We are. When you put it in perspective.
And that's the wildest part. The luckiest people on earth, they literally get paid to make people laugh. Imagine you're getting paid millions of dollars to just shoot the shit constantly. Now, obviously, it has its ups and downs like any other profession, but for the most part, bro, the comedian life, there was a part in time where I wanted to be a comedian, but the comedian life, you literally have your whole day, and then you do spots at night at from 7 to midnight. If you're big enough, you only do like one show a night, and you get paid millions of dollars. Why are you still complaining?
That's what you have.
Then
Take
put
a
it in
deep breath.
perspective and keep it in perspective.
Right.
Then
Keep
put
it
it
in
in perspective and keep it in perspective.
He won't keep it in perspective. Now, I understand if he's been in showbiz since the mid-90s and had such a strong start early in his career, some disappointment should be expected when he's at where he's at. If his career stayed on the same trajectory, he would be at the same level of Kevin Hart or Chappelle or Chris Rock, but unfortunately for Aries, his career peaked early, which is always kind of sad, but at some point you have to look inwards instead of blaming everyone around you and accept that it didn't go the way you planned.
I played the Columbus Funny Bone recently. Were you just there?
Yeah, this weekend.
Exactly, right? Yeah. That's an A room.
Yeah.
You sold good tickets?
Sold out.
We live better than 99.9% of people.
No one's disagreeing with that, but in your heart at night, when you lay your head down on that pillow and you say to yourself, I know I deserve more.
No, that's what you said.
That's what you
And
said.
I feel like that is very telling. At night, he still feels like he deserves more, but he's this person who's confident. Like, I don't understand how you could think that. But I understand why he thinks that is because there is a certain level of lack within himself where he's like, if I don't look like I am the most successful comedian in comparison to the guys that I feel like I'm better than, I will never feel like I am successful. And I think that's what he's chasing, but he's not seeing how he's limiting his own success or his ceiling for success because he's not taking the time to self-actualize and be like, you know what? Am I even fit to be an A-list celebrity? Because I think that's also something that a lot of people don't even factor in. Not everybody is fit to be a Kevin Hart or a Dave Chappelle. Like, look at Kevin Hart. This man looks like an A-list celebrity. No disrespect to Aries Spears, but this man is just conventionally unattractive. Like Eddie Murphy in his prime was an attractive dude. Freaking, what's his name? Dave Chappelle is a dude that is in shape, fit. These are guys that are like on paper just look like celebrities. Not to say that Aries Spears doesn't look like a celebrity, but he's not somebody that's like crazy. Oh my God, Aries Spears, you know? And the look is one thing, but also the personality, the charisma to just be that person who always has a job. I don't feel like Aries Spears is that.
We don't think that.
So his stand-up is doing well, but he's still whining that he's not more rich and famous. The irony is, Mo Collins, who's sitting right next to him, would kill to be selling out shows.
She's living that
Crazy.
dream.
What is missing? What do you want? Because I know you have money. I saw what you rolled up in. I'm driving a Fiat from 2011.
She would love to be making as much money as him. Now, after everyone around the
Like he
table
does
tries
well.
to plead with Aries, like, come on, dude, you gotta let things go and be grateful for the things you've done and where you're at now. But it just doesn't make a dent.
It's just always been my dream since a kid that I want to be that dude. I want to be as big as Kevin Hart.
But you are that dude.
A guy who claims to be talented, or I'm sorry, confident, and believes as though that he is the shit, wants to feel like he's that dude, but you're confident. See the contradiction there? It's not adding up.
My thing is,
in terms of talent and ability.
Right, but
my pockets don't show that. When I go to comedy clubs and
Like that, even that sentence is just, I'm sorry I'm stopping a lot, but it's just so much to cover here. His pockets don't show that he's that dude, but the girl sitting next to him is like, you have money though. You just did a sold out show and you feel like you're not that dude. What are you measuring yourself up against? Like this man, Kevin Hart, is on pace to be a billionaire. So if he's not on Kevin Hart's level, he just feels like, oh yeah, I am not successful. That's insane. Insane. Sad, honestly.
And listen, I'm not saying this is me saying this. I'm telling you what people have said to me. And they go, yo, man, you one of the GOATs. Yo, you a legend. And I go in my mind, no, stop. Eddie Murphy's a legend. Richard Pryor is a legend.
right,
Dave
but then
Chappelle.
you stop. No,
I'm
and
not
the reason
them.
that shut you off is because if they tell you that, listen to what they're saying and accept it.
That's
Well,
a
I do
good
kind of.
point.
It's hard for me when I
That's
hear
what
that
I'm,
and they go, yo, you
that's what I'm
top.
saying. Like he's not even accepting of the praise that he does get. So he's just looking at it like, oh yeah, people aren't giving me recognition. People are literally telling you that you're the GOAT and you're like, oh no, I'm not that. Well then yeah, you're gonna keep thinking that people aren't giving you praise if you're not even accepting the little praise you do get. And he's a good comedian. He's not even a bad comedian, which is why this is just so crazy. It's like, bro, be grateful. But if you're ungrateful and you're not looking at the people who are supporting you, like imagine being like an act, like a part of his fan base, and he's like, yeah, no, I just a sold out show, but I just want more. That would piss me off, quite literally.
5, you up there with Cat Williams, Dave Chappelle, and I'm just going,
Yeah.
if my talent is that,
Aries.
Maybe it's not that. He's talented, but maybe, just maybe, he's not top 5. But that thought doesn't make sense to Aries. He's already decided in his mind that he's a top 5 comedian. So
And I don't even think it's a talent thing. I really think that it's just his attitude. He has a bad attitude, and I feel like the roles in which that the roles of a Kevin Hart that he wants, he's just not that. He's not that guy, quite literally. So, yeah, I don't think that I don't think it has anything to do with talent, because I think that he is 100% as funny as those guys. But also, there is like a sacrifice to be at that level as a comedian, where you do have to be the white corporate kind of, like I just talk about my family. It's very white collar or blue collar, whatever collar it is. That's the kind of content you gotta talk about in your stand-ups that I feel like Aries doesn't do. So for him to be like, oh yeah, I want to be as big as Kevin Hart, but you still talk about like dick and ball jokes, sex, which I mean Kevin Hart still does, but not to the level of, what's the word? Basically not to the level of, I don't know what word I'm looking for. I would say like it's just a lot more, I guess, vulgar or aggressive, like that's not something that is gonna be on the front page of Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll still sell out shows, people will find you funny, but you're not gonna be doing like arena tours and stuff like that when you're talking about just the most abrasive stuff. That's the word I'm looking for. But let's continue.
Everything else around him just isn't adding up. How can a top 5 comic not live in a huge mansion? It doesn't make sense, right? People have said to him, hey Aries, you're the GOAT, which is probably what he shouts in the mirror every night. And even though he says, nah, I'm not a legend, deep down he's thinking, well, I kinda am though. According to him, he's just as talented as Kevin Hart and has the same abilities as him, so why he rich with mansion and not me? I know that sounds silly, but I'm paraphrasing his words here. The level of entitlement is approaching delusion. But now we're getting to another aspect of the many problems of Aries Spears. He reveals that he's not a great dad and a bad husband because he cheats on his wife. And if he was able to fix that, then he could be happy, which is what most of us would think, right? But no, because he doesn't have that mansion.
Let's say you said, okay, you want your flowers, you're the GOAT, you've dreamt of this mansion your whole life.
Yeah.
If by midnight you move into that mansion of your dreams and you get everything you've ever dreamt about, the money, the bag, the mansion, whatever it is, do you think that you could sit there and be like, okay, I got it, I am fulfilled, I am happy?
I would be happy if I got that plus the things that really matter.
What are the things that really matter?
I'm not a great father to my kids.
Okay, we're getting
my
somewhere.
heart just
You know how
exploded.
insane that is to be somebody who wants more and you're not a good dad? Bruh, like I don't understand this dude. Like, I mean, I understand him, but it's sad. Like, look at everybody's reaction. It's like, yeah, I want the mansion. I want to be as big as Kevin Hart, but I'm not a good dad. Come on, bro.
So I want to tighten up my relationship with my son.
Oof, do that, and maybe the mansion will follow.
And as
That's
much
the
as I
crazy
love
part.
the woman who I want to marry for the third time, I cheat. I fuck other women.
Yeah.
So
I was having a conversation with a friend last night, and we were talking about cheating. Like cheating, when you realize cheating has nothing to do with the person who's being cheated, like maybe partially, but it has more to do with somebody who has that lack of, I guess, security within themselves, where they're like, oh, I need more people to fill my cup. That's really what cheating is. He cheats, and he's not a good father. It's not. If you told me that dude is not happy in his career because he feel like he deserves more, that is what cheating represents. Cheating is somebody who these are people who want more. Now, I feel like he has a misplaced sense of value on the things that he wants in life. Like he wants more success, more this, more that, but his relationship sucks with his wife and his kid. And I feel like the lady on the right, she touched on something that was really good, where she said maybe if you fix those things, the other things will follow. Well, yeah, because just going back to the whole spiritual aspect of it, when you're in alignment and you do things from, I know this to be true, I'm doing things in alignment, I'm doing things that feed my soul and stuff like that, you naturally become attractive to the things that you want in life. So if he does so desire this mansion, the success, the money, all of these things, he will be the vibratory frequency of those things so he can attract it. But because he's in such a lack, I guess, mindset or mind frame, he's always going to hit a wall. So let's continue.
I have a problem.
So
with
you have holes in your body that not
Pretty
a
much,
mansion
yeah.
or a
Holes in
bag
your
of
body.
cash will ever fill it.
Whoa, wait. If I'm going to fuck up, let me fuck up with the mansion. But not saying I want to fuck up. I'm just simply saying that exterior shit, that's what I've dreamt about. That's what I want. Now, if I got it tomorrow, that part I could check off the list and go, I got it. But I still would need that other shit to be in place too.
Which one can you control?
Yeah.
Why not both?
You can't control both.
Why not both?
How you won't answer that? Do you see?
Which
Mo,
one can
ask
you-
it again.
Well, I
Which
mean,
one
no,
can
no,
you
stop,
control?
Aaron, shut the
the
fuck up.
surface
Go, Mo.
answer, the
Like he can control his relationship and with his baby moms and his son, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't really want, and that's the whole crazy. That's the whole thing about Aries. He doesn't want the things that he thinks that he wants. He just wants to feel whole and complete within himself, because if you can't, there is nothing stopping him from being a better father, being a better partner to his baby moms. He just doesn't want to do it. And that is what he's failing to realize. He's like, "Oh, I want these things." Well, do you though? Like, you don't really want it as bad as you think you do.
Or your relationship.
The surface answer is the relationship.
All right,
Okay.
then.
That's not a surface.
But listen,
that's what's real.
My manager used to say to me, his quote was always, "You want to be rich, you want to be right." Because very rarely in this business can you be both. And I don't subscribe to that. I think you can be rich and right.
No.
Is it a harder path? Dave Chappelle is rich and right.
Like, this man is just greedy, bro. Like, he just wants more. He just wants more, wants more. Bruh, why do you want both? Like, why can't you just be right? Why can't you just be okay with what you got? You know what I'm saying? It's just,
He does whatever he wants.
But that's
says
Dave
whatever he
Chappelle.
wants.
Yet another comparison to one of the best comics today. Every time
the most popular quote in anything when it comes to just life, it could be applied to anything. Comparison is the thief of joy. You continue to compare your life to another comedian who is, in your words, one of the GOATs. Yeah, you're always going to look at yourself like, man, I'm not doing enough. I'm not as successful as I want to be, because you're comparing yourself to. That's like me being like, oh my God, like, oh, I'm not as big as Mr. Beast. Yeah, he is the greatest YouTuber of all time. How can I possibly compare myself to that, at least right now? But it doesn't even matter. Like, to be that, like, wow, if you're making money off your stuff, people are supporting you, why does any of that matter? But it only matters because he's not realizing, like, man, there's stuff within myself that I feel insecure about. But that takes a level of vulnerability that at 50, for him to not be there, it's like, I don't think he's ever going to get there. So
it seems like he's developing some self-awareness. He counteracts it with a comparison to a comic that is much more famous than he is. He has all these personal problems, and the people around him here are trying to tell him, hey, why don't you focus on fixing those personal problems for now? And he's like, nah, I want to be rich as well. Dave Chappelle is. It doesn't make sense. And
Not
you
at
can
all.
even see the frustration from Bobby Lee, who we all know has an array of personal issues himself. But he's thinking, Jesus Christ, this guy is unreachable. His ego has formed a cocoon around his head. So logic and common sense just cannot make its way in.
What'd you make?
In the beginning,
Yeah.
$4,000 an episode.
Yeah. What'd you end up at? I'm curious. I'm
45.
genuine. I'm actually genuinely
Can I ask you a
curious.
question first?
Yeah.
What'd you end up at?
15.
Great.
What'd you end up at?
20.
Fuck my life.
You ended up at 20?
I ended up at 15. And they
You ended up at
and
20?
said, you're done.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Even though when I went beyond the contract, they're like,
What
they're
did you
not
end up?
going.
Bobby, what are you doing? What are you doing, Bobby?
You ended up at 15?
Yeah.
Yep.
Me and Michael got 20.
See what I'm talking about?
Michael.
Does it burn? My little
Goddamn right it
my,
does.
My little broken
but
creature.
why does it burn, though? Again, another comparison. He's comparing himself to how much, I'm assuming it's 20,000 episode or 15,000. I don't know. But it's like, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter who makes more or whatever. There's always going to be somebody making more than you, bro. Unless you're Jeff Bezos. But it's like, bruh, he's always comparing himself to another person. And he's wondering why, oh yeah, why am I so unhappy? Crazy.
Are you sad? Little
I
dumpling?
mean, it's just numbers.
Yeah, they're just numbers.
Just numbers.
The phrase, they're just numbers, was the last thing he wanted to hear, which made that moment hilarious.
true, though.
Aries is a talented
is
guy
just
with
numbers.
an ego that simply doesn't match his resume. Hopefully he can learn to be more grateful and content with what he's achieved so far in his career. Personally, I find it hard to feel bad for him when his complaints sound unreasonable. But let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like and subscribe. It really helps.
So yeah, in closing, I feel like Aries Spears suffers from what a lot of people suffer from, lack of self-awareness. Because not once did he take the time to say, like, you know what, I do this because I'm just not happy. with my life. I'm not happy with myself. I don't feel secure enough to change or to want to. I don't have a strong enough desire to change, and I think that is why he's in the position that he's in, because he would much rather shift the blame to, oh, I'm doing everything right. Well, how could you possibly be doing everything right if you aren't garnering the results that you want? Like, in another way, if I'm somebody who, you know what, I just can't lose weight, it's like, okay, well, are you eating right? Are you working out daily? Are you doing the necessary things to garner the results? No. So then why would you think that you would lose weight? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's just, I like to use real life analogies for stuff like this to kind of break it down better. But yeah, I feel like Aries Spears just suffers from a lack of self-awareness, and I think that he'll continue to curate drama around himself, which honestly I feel like is a losing battle, because he's just doing, like, his whole thing with Ice Cube, he's just doing it again, where he's going viral for basically just being an asshole, being bitter and stuff like that. It's like, why? Like, you're alienating yourself more and more. Like, yeah, it's funny doing stuff at the expense of another person sometimes, which is why I never got into like the whole roasting stuff when it came to comedy. But he does that a lot. And when you build your career about roasting people or alienating yourself to be the unpopular opinion, you can't be surprised when you're not getting calls from those higher ups or those label execs or those studios that you so want this career to be out of here. They're going to be like, oh, but weren't you just talking shit about me? Weren't you just talking shit about Ice Cube? Weren't you just talking about shit about Will Smith? All of these guys that he's been talking shit about these past couple of weeks. It's like, yeah, they're not going to want to be associated with you. But I don't know. That's my take. I feel like, yeah, it's just good to go over stuff like this because self-awareness is key. Being aware of your flaws and what it is that you need to improve on is ultimately how you change. And when you aren't aware, you basically get stuck like Aries Spears. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm going to leave a link to this video in the description so that you can watch it yourself and give your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when I come with the next one. Peace.